Thanks for the 3 months, Rexes. And just setting some things up. We will be starting very soon. Alright, let's get started here. So currently, the issue is that when we use the bucket tool here, wait, it's fine at first, all good, but then if you can do it again, all good, but then if you resize it, whether it's a larger or smaller size, will get into issues. And issue basically is that it thinks that it is somehow both the new size and the old size. I'm not sure exactly why it does that. So, a couple of different things that could be. Specifically, we need to look at where we're getting this image from. Oh, this is with the selection image. Got it. Okay. So maybe all we need to do is something like... Well, actually, let's try something real quick. We run it again. We can fill it, and then resize it. And then we can select in here, maybe. Although it won't let us select. So what's up with that? That is strange. Oh, okay. Huh. So we definitely have some sort of coordinate issues going on in addition to whatever else is happening here. Why would it do that? That would have to be... something with the selection viewport not updating. Maybe it just doesn't update at all when you change the canvas size. I would think it would, though. Let's check that. That should be fairly easy to check by going here, then checking this, and then resizing it like this. Yeah, and then that changes, which is what we expect to happen. But maybe this, oh, I closed it, so I can't see it, but there's another texture thing under there that maybe needs to be updated. Okay. So if it's that, then we need to look at the script here. Hmm. Create a new texture, and we set the texture to that. Fine. All looking pretty good here. I do have some concerns. Okay, very true, Berlin. Welcome. Yeah, if you missed it, basically it crashes if you resize the sprite and then use the bucket tool. And it's something to do with the selection? And I'm not sure how that works, but it does. Not like that. I'm not that. Why would it do that? Okay, so there's one other thing I can think of, and that would be that we need to do a refresh, basically, of this viewport at some point. Check that on all. Let's go. Back to the here. So when we actually add a selection in, we do that. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, it might be a good idea to put some of these into like functions under the selection viewport, maybe. And then you could just call them from here. But let's see, so that's flood fill, fine. Don't care. We need to look at Okay, we need to look at also the marquee tool. See how it handles some of the positioning stuff. That's that. Which happens at the selection edge. Do actually do that texture here. Hey. Thanks for the raid, Taco Man guy. Can we get a shout out? Yeah, so what we're doing here is trying to make the bucket tool not fail miserably, which it does right now, specifically when you resize spray and then try to use it. You get a bajillion errors. And where those errors are coming from is right here, where we are getting a pixel from the selection mask, which is interesting. Yeah, right. I'm making a custom pixel art editor in Godot. So actually using the engine instead of making a game, making an art editing program, if you will. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so when you, let's see, do a selection like this, it's fine. When you resize it, let's do something in between. Now it's offset. Why is it offset? Specifically by that much. Yeah. Oh, that's odd. So Source image width is different from mask width. Okay. What do I think is causing the bucket to spaz out? So I kind of know what it is, or at least where it's happening, and that is with the selection mask, which it thinks is a different size than it actually is. But I don't know why it thinks it's a different size than it actually is. Source image width is different from mask width. So at some point, when I'm resizing, it should be resizing the selection as well, and it's just kind of not doing that. Like, it needs to properly refresh itself. Let me check in here where I do the actual resizing. Let's see what I do. Okay. 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 So I'm going to need to look for where I use this signal. Yes, size growth. Sure, yeah. We got this one. Which is not what we're talking about. Got that. Fine. And we've got here. This is on the drawing viewport. Good. And we just set our own size, it looks like. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure, we just checked, the selection viewport itself is automatically getting its size set, because of the viewport container that it's in. At least I assume that's why. And so that should be fine. But the thing that holds the actual image here, this is not getting resized, I think. Which unfortunately there's not a good easy way to check that at runtime. I'll have to just add a thing in here that checks that. Actually, this would be good to check when we're doing a flip of the selection viewport here. Okay, so resize to 256. Yeah, classic print test. I mean, I could do a breakpoint, but like, it's honestly not as helpful in this scenario. Okay, so we did not get a print there, which tells me... Okay, we did there, though. Yeah, okay. So I'm thinking, based on that, and based on the fact that the sub-viewport is getting its size changed, I'm thinking that what we need to do is when our selection viewport gets its size changed, it needs to update itself. That might help. Let's see if we can do that. Actually, we don't have to do it that way. We can just do size changed. Connect. Then connect it to on size changed, which we will create right here. And when we do that, we want to call text flip. And we'll see if that does anything in the direction of what we are hoping to achieve. Okay, so it did go ahead and do that. But this is still offset. And this still crashes it. So I'm thinking it's more about the offset thing? Possibly. We need to also check how this affects if we try to move the selection, because that gave us a different kind of error. We do that, and then we try to move it. Yeah, that still tells us the size of the image is like different from the size of the mask somehow. Let's actually print that. Hey, welcome first time to the chat. Injust, what's up? I am on my pixel art editor here in Godot, and we're having some difficulties working out the bucket tool and why it crashes when you resize the sprite. And we've narrowed it down to be something with the selection mask. It is not staying up to date in terms of its size when you resize the sprite. Going to try to print this mask.getSize. as well as the image size. Up, and that's my ideas about drawing games with Godot, like a Japanese program, but I'm not skilled enough to program something like that yet. I mean, yeah, sure. That could be fun. I can see that. You probably wouldn't have to go as all in as I am, just to make a game out of it. You could use some line 2Ds. The hard part would probably be like detecting like what kanji you drew or what have you. Yeah, not too crazy. Okay. What are we doing? We're looking at size. We'll resize that and here. And then we make a selection. And then we try to move the selection. Okay. Right. So indeed, actually that's interesting. So the image's size is the big one. And then for some reason the mask has actually correctly updated. I wonder if that is I don't know. Get the layer writer here. And then just do a texture flip. See what that does. But I don't see why would need to do that, because I'm already handling that separately. So, okay. We do resize. Okay, it doesn't want to resize at all. It can't find the layer writer because I did not make that, in fact, a unique node. Okay, let's go with the layer manager instead then. Really irrelevant, it's just for testing purposes. So, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2. And then that. See if that helps. Okay. doesn't change anything. Why? Why though? I think well, you can't just clear it. You can't just clear the texture because then you'll lose whatever's in it. But you can set the texture to the viewport texture, which is what I'm doing. Yeah, image texture made from the viewport. You get it. But that should crop out everything outside of the viewport, I believe. And doing that should make this size change, which should make everything work. But it doesn't. So why does that not get updated? That is the question. I could, do something here, maybe. This should be okay. The reason this should be okay is because we are manually setting the size. Are we not? Okay, so we go here in ready. Oh, maybe we're not. Where was that then? We're doing that. Your playlist fits the vibe perfectly. Thank you. I like to think so. If I don't know if you noticed, but you could see in the top left the current track playing. And yes, that is actually Winamp. Good old-fashioned Winamp. Blended right in with Godot. Yeah, a bit. Okay, so the layer writer is different from the drawing handler. I see. Drawing handler, which goes on the canvas? Correct. Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay. So, okay. This might not be able to properly resize itself too, because it's under a node 2D, but we're about to find out when I click this button. And set this to correct. Alright. That isn't quite right. So yeah, I think that is, like I said, because it's under the node 2D here, so it's not able to work correctly. I could do a couple different things for that, but I think we're going to leave it that way, and then I'm going to also do the same thing I do here. And then let's see. Does this have a size changed signal? Resized, it's called. So we're going to connect to this signal. From here. We're going to get the this, and we're going to get the resized signal. I'm going to connect that to canvas on, canvas resized. Set the size to canvas dot size. Give that a shot. Should be okay. That happens. Okay. Ah, but now they're the correct size. Great. Okay. So that's part of the puzzle here. The other part is this positioning thing. Now we're also getting to something interesting happening, which is that we cannot draw anywhere on here. Huh. What's up with that? I'm guessing that is something to do directly with what we changed on the keyboard here. Or perhaps indirectly on the canvas. Okay to me, knowing how some of this works. It seems alright. Why is this like this? That's what I don't get. Why does it want to be 2 pixels? Because the size is 2 pixels. That, for some reason. So that could explain quite a bit of what we just saw. Let's try that. Now we can draw. And can we make size? Okay, we can, but it's going to offset it, it looks like. I do think, quite possibly, this is something that needs to be resolved here at this level. This kind of worked before, though. So it's interesting now that it does not really. That moves up and to the left, almost as if it were anchored in the bottom right. But we know it's not. It's supposed to be anchored in the top left. But now, for some reason, the top left is over here. So why could that be? Let's leave that on full rect. Perhaps it needs to be like that. Well, clearly not. But maybe when we resize it, it's sort of doing that on its own. So that effectively centers it. We want to instead grow to the right and bottom, but keep everything else pretty much the same. Let's see how that works. Things are drawn top left by default and find to be hit during go to 0, 0. Kinda. It's supposed to stay at 0, 0 though, is the thing. I've designed it to where it should. But where it thinks 0, 0 should be relative to the canvas might not be the same. I think it's thinking it needs to put its center at 0, 0, whereas I'm trying to tell it to put the top left part of it at 0, 0. And it doesn't want to do that right now. What if I say, okay, sure, we're gonna just go ahead and bottom right? No, that won't work at all. We have to do top left. We have to do top left, except differenter. And how exactly does it need to be different? That I do not know. It would be a good idea, though, to check the actual position. So it's staying at 0, 0. Let's check. Can we see that maybe in the remote? I hope so. Okay. It's gonna look a little bit funny. Just is. That's normal. And that has to do with the way we use some viewports and stuff. But why doing that? What changed here? Change that. Does not help. Maybe it's not the viewport itself. And that kind of makes sense if I think about it for a few seconds. It could be this. Hold on. Up. Then try moving that. Okay, no, it is the viewport. Alright. Ah, it's an offset thing? We're setting this offset right and not top and left like we need to? Question mark? Or wait, what? Oh, that sets its position? Huh? What? Okay. So what you're telling me is this thing's position can't be 0, 0 because it thinks that when its position is 0, 0, it's not at where it should be. Like, it thinks 0, 0 is up here, or it thinks that its center is where it is what should be at 0, 0, which seems more likely. but I don't have it on centered. So why would it do that? So maybe it's with the anchors? But then I would expect it to work more correctly than it does. Center just doesn't work at all. Slight Eureka, yeah. That'd be one way to put it. I just don't get why it's suddenly wanting me to reposition it the way that it is. Let's try changing I don't think it should be an issue. We change this to be a control. Where's that? Control. And then we'll also have to change it in these scripts. This might mess other things up, but we'll see. Explaining it to the duck thing step by step. Yep. Should get a duck on stream. Let's see. So we do that, and then so we make that a control, and then we need to make that correct, I believe. And then this also we would have to change stretch. Correct. And then we'll just ignore that. Okay. Okay. So that works. I don't know what kind of black magic is happening behind the scenes for that to work. And then now it's doing the other thing again. Oh. Oh, because I do need to set this size. Question mark. I thought it was not going to let me, but yeah. Okay. This is really weird. This is supremely strange. And it might be this. I may have just found it. Oh, you're gonna tell me it was this? You're gonna tell me it was that I had set a custom minimum size on this? And that was it? Ah! Oh no. Okay, let's see. Yeah, if it works now, then I guess, sure. That's just a ridiculous thing for this to be. Oh, it's beautiful. I can't believe that was the problem. That's such a dumb problem. Oh boy. We do need to check now if yes, duty. We need to check if this affects layers, because it might. Huh. Okay. Mostly seems alright. This, if I'm not mistaken, should go ahead and include that. Okay. Seems good to me. Let's see, what else do we need to do here? Get rid of this, since we're now using that. Then we also need to check what we've done in our selection viewport. This print, longer need. What's that? Then we also need to go to here. We're not here exactly. Where do we do that? That is maybe in here. How did we do that? We do Or sizes, rather, I should say. This right here was in our selection tool, that's right. Looks good to me. Okay, so now here's the moment of truth. The real moment of truth is if we resize. And then we use the bucket tool. Ah, quite nice. Then we go to, let's try something a little bit larger. Because we're gonna have to address this at some point. A bit of lag. But it does work. Okay. But at some point, I do believe we are going to be able to do this anymore. And, oh, that's interesting. I thought I had that fixed. Okay, so it is not letting me pan out from this area, which means that somehow the camera controller thinks that the size of the canvas is still the old size because it is ? No, what is this? This is something else. I'm going to ignore this. Where do I need to be here? Here-ish. There. Okay. It is correctly sized. It is weirdly positioned, but we probably don't care. ? This may also be biting me in a few places, I'm not sure. Let's see though. Let's actually go to the camera itself. I had this settled a long time ago, so this should be good to go, except it is getting the size incorrectly now. So I'm guessing that would be this. These sort of margins need to be set when you do the resize. Let's see what happens here. We have sprite size changed. Let's go ahead and from here change the camera. And set the margins. Let's see. I'm losing myself. Okay. Back here at the canvas. So this is basically going to be negative new size divided by 2. This is going to be new size divided by 2. And then let's also make sure we set these. So I'll be honest, I don't remember what these do. But I'm sure they're important because I put them in there. Yeah, this is a good one. Huh. I think because I kind of changed how it's that mostly seems right to me. Okay, so this should be 0, 0 now. This should be 5, 12, 5, 5, 12. I think that's right. The only issue now is that I'm going to go up a bit off center when you start. But honestly, that is a small price to pay. I think the correct thing to do is actually to put the camera's position to the new position. Do something like this. There we go, automatically to the center. Quite good. And then we just need to also do that just in the camera at the start, I believe. Be okay. Let's just put that up here. It's fine. It's fine. I'm curious how Sprite handles that. I think they might do it a couple different ways, but we'll just focus on the way that they handle simple resize like this. Yeah, this is fine. Want to get it kind of off center. See what it does. I don't even know what that was. Tell you. So then if we change the canvas size, but then it just moves us any which way. Honestly, I don't think they didn't pay any attention to that. So therefore, we don't have to either. So that seems pretty good to me. Very nice. Okay. This is now working here as well, which I believe was broken before, specifically because of that selection thing. Although, going on here. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah. So because the selection was wrong when the sprite was a different size, you couldn't properly select in other sprites either, so that is also fixed now, which is great. What else can we do here? It would be nice to have a way to import lids. Go ahead and add that to the list here. That's pretty important for my own personal ability to use this or any pixel art editor. We'll have to add that. Minor. But what is that? Why did it do that? What ungodly bug have I just discovered? What? What? Ah! What? What is this? What is going on? What was that? What? I don't even know how I would replicate that. Well, apparently just by resizing it again. What? Too much power. Yeah. I was getting too powerful. The universe had to knock me back down a few pegs. Clearly that's what it was. That does not make sense. That does not make sense. What if I go to 32? Still gonna do it. What if I go to 63? Okay, now we're good. 63 is okay. What? 38. How's 38 looking? Bad. Bad is the answer. $48. How's 48 looking? Okay. 48 is okay. 40. How's 40 looking? Bad. $47. Fine. 46. Fine. 45. Fine. 44. Fine. 43. Fine. 42. Fine. 41. Fine. 40. Previously established to be not fine. Specifically, 40 pixels or less in size, we get this. Why? That makes no sense whatsoever. This is perhaps the single strangest thing I have ever seen in terms of this project, at least. Oh. That tells me something. It doesn't tell me something I like to hear, but that tells me something. That tells me that this is somehow, and I don't know how, somehow, this has to do with free multiplication and or the way that we delete things. Which isn't very fun. It's weird though. Very weird. It could be. Something to do with this. Why 40? Such a strange number. What? Excuse me? Huh? This is weird, man. It's really weird. Adding it to the board. Let's say strange drawing behavior. Add you're able to fix sprite size. That's super bizarre. I don't suppose I would have said anything anywhere about the number 40. Replay. In fact, technically, I have, but I don't think this is related. It is, however, the only place that I've used for 40, which is interesting. There's no way that's related, so I'm not even entertain the idea. This has gotta be something to do with, like, Godot itself not liking certain things. I don't know what things it doesn't like. Some of them, surely. And then I'll probably have to some kind of special case for it. Hopefully it doesn't derail the project entirely. This would be such a dumb thing to do that with. But if it does, I'll at least be able to file a bug report with the Godot team. Look into it. If it really is that serious. Let's see. What else could we do here? Just to get an idea of what this might be related to. that. See if that makes a difference. It does not. Interesting the way this works. It's almost like it's drawing a rectangle. Probably what it's really doing is it's making a bounding box of some sort around the stuff that I have gone in. Presumably because it is updating the textures, like it's redrawing it, but wrong? So I suppose that would be... What are the options? Never next. It wouldn't be there. It would have to be somewhere else. It would have to be... You know, this would have to be something where it is... If it's that, which I don't know that it is, but if it is that, there would have to be something where it is doing it specifically for like small textures. It's deciding that it wants to handle them differently, which is weird. What would do that? No. So this could be another good place to look would be if it's something on the, like, brush itself. So we, I believe, attach a material to that. And we could also look at the some of the other stuff like this. So this could be interesting, actually. We might be setting... Our alpha might be less than 0 here. I don't think so, but it could be. That doesn't seem related the slightest. Okay. So probably not in there. Where else might that show up? well. Could be on the material for a layer raider painter, which I kind of doubt. This does not have a material. It's fine. It does, but we just looked at that. So we're down to this or something else entirely. So I'm going to lean towards this being something else. Huh. That doesn't seem related. It was interesting how it did that weird thing with the checkerboard at one point as well. Yeah, this could be canvas rendering moment. Hope not. It wouldn't make much sense for it to be, though. Not much. Okay. Yada yada yada. Probably not here. Let's go check on the lines that we're adding. There we go. I believe this is what we use. I should check though. So to check that, we're gonna go here and then what we actually add, child, which would be in brush tool. Actually, not directly in here, but good enough. We have the brush line. Choose a multi-mesh. We set the material here, which is going to be correct mix duct close. Okay, so it's not lines. Good thing we didn't just go ahead and jump to that. So it's this shader. Which does something. Which is not necessarily advisable. Let's see. How can we do something different here? Let's... Wait, are we actually doing anything? I don't think we are. What? So, does that mean... that it can't be here? I think it can't. I think it cannot be here. Okay. It's a bit disappointing. if we did something like we kind of reloaded the image or something? Maybe that would help. I don't know. Certainly is worth a shot. And to get there, we gotta go here to just go to it correctly. Brush line. Got this material. I feel like we might also have another material, but could be mistaken on that. Sure, let's just say it's that. So we do this thing where we set the brush. An image. Right? Okay, so we need to go there, which is, I believe, actually in here. We make a new brush. We provide it with this layerwriter.brush, which, okay, this is a little bit wonky, going back and forth, but that is going to be here. And that is just something that we load in. Which is this, which should just be a 1 pixel image, which is fine. But why did that suddenly start breaking down when we have small sprite size? Small sprite breaks that. Let's check the remote and make sure there's not like a bunch of junk in there. Because maybe it's like doing something weird with the, I don't know, selection mask or something. So it is adding in the multi-mesh instance, which is fine. I do have concerns. Concerns with the fact that this is needing to be the thing that shows that. Like perhaps there's a broken path or something, but that would, again, not make sense with it only happening when the sprite is below a certain size. Which is just weird. I need to look this up. This might be a bug. This might be a bug with viewports that are very small. Let's check that. It'll be like Godot, viewports, small, prefix, issues. GitHub. The margin container adds a 40 pix margin around. That's interesting. If 40 pix defaults for that, but it is not useful. I do not use that way that would make that happen. So let's go to the actual issues here. I'm curious if maybe this is something to do with this. Would be weird, mind you. It would be strange. But maybe, just maybe, this is not good for it to be resizing it, and we should do that manually. So let's attempt that. I doubt that this will help, but you can try all sorts of things. And if a fairly low chance of working, okay. No dice. Let's go back to the issues here. Unexpected interaction between sprite2d and sub. Doesn't seem relevant. Okay. How else would we put this? Also, can we get rid of something? Like, say, the selection mask? Can we... you know, I say get rid of. That's a little bit of a strong word. Let's say we just don't do that. Does that make any difference? That doesn't make a difference. Oh, it does. Okay, okay, so that does make a difference. Okay, this is good, actually. Even though we don't like that this is where the issue is, we know that the issue is there. So, just to confirm. Okay, I cannot confirm. What? What? So I did this. Back. How it is. Should be. And now let's go down all the way to like 20, 30. Okay. What? Oh no. Oh no, this is bad. This is very bad, actually. This is an inconsistent issue. This is an issue which only shows up sometimes. I hate that kind of issue. And we spent quite a bit of time trying to fix it without having any idea why it could happen. Great. So, there's that. Selection. What? What? Huh? What did I do? So that's fine. Okay. We go down to small size. Try to select it. We can't. Go back up. There's our selection. Okay. Okay. So we're still having some issues with positioning of selections. Gotcha. That is interesting. Did I change something for that? Might have. Not too much. I didn't change too much. So we've got that, and then this. I don't understand. I don't understand why this would behave in the way that it does. Because this should, in a manner largely unrelated, anything else that's going on. It should resize itself. Which is good. Hmm. Why would that be? Well, there's something that is broken. Okay. Cool. Let's change this back to 2D. Which should be okay to do. Because just turn this on. What? Oh, did I do it on the wrong thing? What? This is on sprite scene? That's not right. What? Be on layer manager. Curious. What? Back to this again? I thought we were past this. Come on. Come on. Well, in that case. Hmm. Let's see. This viewport here, correct? This one. Got stretch off. We could put stretch on. I don't think it'll help. In fact, I highly doubt it will. But, you know, can do that. Indeed, it does help. Let's set this. Okay. So we have another case of the port sizing itself correctly here. See what that does. Anything. Okay, nothing. Fine. What about positioning? Aha. So if we reset that. Okay, now we're cooking. Back to the future. I must have missed the relevance of that. That's good. Okay, so it's basically that. It's just more trouble than it's worth to try to make this automatically resize itself for the viewport. Cool. That's fun. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna have to be fixed. But it's pretty fun. Okay. How would we go about fixing that? I don't know. It's a weird one. I suppose you could just take the scale into account when you go ahead and do that. So it's going to be when you're dealing with the position. Mouse. I think a better way might be to actually apply the effect, so to speak. Let's try that. It could be simpler. we apply the scale. Oh, I see why we can't really do that. Because we're doing it to the whole thing. I'm gonna not mess with this, I think. This is too annoying. And, just fix it another time. It should be okay if I just am able to actually translate those coordinates, though, because I mean it's working fine for drawing still, I believe. Yeah. It's just select does not. Let's try the other stuff. So this works fine. What is special about this? That's interesting. Really? Something special about selection. I believe it is that the thing that's actually drawing it is sort of outside of the scope of the layer manager. So really what you should do is you should I guess you should flip the whole canvas. In fact, so let's try that. Although it may not work with control nodes. That's something we have to account for. Let's see. We do have a scale, though. I think just the apply scale. That might not be available. Yeah, for some reason, not a thing. But we can set that times equal to this. See what that does. Okay, so we've got positioning issues, which is to be expected. This is also not quite right. Is not quite right. Let's go ahead and check what apply scale is actually doing. Applies the current scale by the ratio vector. That's what we would expect it to do. I'm thinking that if you've, because canvas is what actually does the accepts the positional data of from the mouse, it might also be messing that up. So that's interesting. Yet apply scale not being on all nodes, kind of weird. Would think that would be part of canvas item, not part of node 2D, because both controls and these have them. I guess there are canvas items that are neither controls nor node 2Ds, but they're not. They're few and far between. See, this isn't. Oh, this is a canvas layer, which is even related. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. If we do it this way, we also are going to have to do this. So that should deal with the positional stuff. Poorly, apparently. Okay. Maybe not that simple. Plan B. What if do something a little different? Instead, let's go ahead we try doesn't make sense to do that. Maybe do some of the sub container, like flip those around. Which ones? I don't know, but let's try the canvas viewport container, because that makes some sense. It would be a matter of doing that instead of layer manager. I feel like that makes very little difference. But then just also do it to selection viewport container. So that would be a matter of doing this, but slightly different. So we're going to get the canvas viewport, which is the canvas viewport. Parent. And then the selection port container, which is, you guessed it, parent of the selection port. We're going to basically just do this to those. That. Allow this. We will do that again. Why? Remake these variables. Okay. Seems good to me. So we'll try that. Interesting. Very interesting. And if we don't do that for the selection, we seem to get the same effect. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. I think that this might not be being rendered directly at all. Okay. So it is sorta, maybe, kinda sometimes, but not really. So we've got this hanging out here. So it needs to be included as well. Okay. let's say we do that by just making this checkered canvas, which we conveniently do not have. By conveniently, I mean not so conveniently. Okay, change that. What? Oh, of course. Because we are not rendering this through here. We are rendering it separately. So that's going to do that. But what if it didn't, though? Eh? Yeah, the only reason it does that is because this viewport doesn't know what to do with itself in that scenario. But it is all being rendered by the canvas renderer, actually. I see. I see. Indeed. Okay. So I had an idea, but probably not a great one. And that is to operate on the canvas renderer directly. The issue with that is several-fold. Yeah, so if that's not being rendered, how is this being rendered? Oh, okay. For some reason I thought that was directly under checkered canvas viewport, but it is not. It is, or sorry, under the container, but it's under the viewport, which is fine. If we want it to be part of everything that we are doing here, then we need to put all of these under a common scalable thing. Since we are making them all, except for this, full Rex, kind of makes sense. Okay. Okay. What to do? So I say we do this. The problem is we cannot do this for the selection viewport container. We're gonna have to probably revisit this. Before we go ahead with that, let me write down what we're doing here. So, notepad, be fine. So we've got the selection. Okay. When flipping canvas, the selection what about the selection? Does not properly work. Select tool not properly work. We need to put the appropriate things, including stuff, under the selection viewports. Okay. That is pretty good. I think I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll come back to that problem next time. Due to everyone who showed up tonight. If anybody is not in Discord server yet, in that, feel free to join. Gonna start a raid here. Let's see. Yeah, let's raid Isabel, who is doing Sonic Racing. Like fun? And I'll be there. No, that is not the right. I'm sorry, don't. All right, I did not. There is more on. Add my. Alright, see ya.